The air hangs thick with tension across one of the world's most militarized borders. Two nuclear powers, born from the same colonial past yet divided by history's sharp knife, face each other with fingers hovering near triggers. India and Pakistan's military rivalry represents one of geopolitics' most dangerous flashpoints, their arsenals constantly evolving in a high-stakes game of strategic chess. But which nation truly holds the military advantage? The answer lies deeper than mere numbers. In the shadow of the Himalayas, an arms race decades in the making has created two distinctly different fighting forces. One, a rising global power with superpower ambitions, the other, a smaller but intensely focused adversary unwilling to cede ground. Their military capabilities tell a story not just of weapons and soldiers, but of national priorities, international relationships, and the dangerous dance of deterrence. The Gair, Sky Warriors, the aerial contest. India's air power projection begins with numbers that would make many nations envious. Approximately 1,700 aircraft to Pakistan's roughly 900. But the quality gap may be even more significant than the quantity. The crown jewel of India's Air Force is its fleet of Russian-designed Su-30 MKI fighters. Around 272 of these heavy, long-range air superiority fighters form the backbone of India's aerial deterrent. Recent additions include 36 French Rafales, representing some of the world's most advanced multi-role fighters with exceptional electronic warfare capabilities. India has also developed indigenous platforms like the Tejas light combat aircraft, though it continues to operate aging MiG-21s and MiG-29s alongside more modern fighters. The IAF maintains over 30 squadrons with ambitious expansion plans. Pakistan counters with a smaller but focused air fleet, centering on Chinese-designed JF-17 Thunder fighters, over 100 in service, and approximately 75 American F-16s of various blocks. While numerically outmatched, Pakistan's Air Force emphasizes pilot training and tactical innovation, demonstrated during the 2019 dogfights following the Balakot airstrikes when PAF pilots managed to shoot down an Indian MiG-21 despite India's overall advantages. But while Pakistan maximizes its limited resources, India's deeper pockets allow it to pursue more ambitious modernization, including plans for indigenous fifth-generation fighters and expanding its fleet of airborne early warning systems. Narquarka's naval chessboard, the maritime balance. The contrast between these rivals becomes even more pronounced at sea. India operates a true blue water navy with global ambitions, centered around two aircraft carriers, INS Vikramaditya and the indigenous INS Vikrant, with a third under development. Its approximately 150 vessels include modern destroyers, frigates, and an expanding submarine fleet featuring both conventional and nuclear-powered vessels. The crown jewel of India's underwater arsenal is INS Arihant, a nuclear ballistic missile submarine representing the third leg of India's nuclear triad. This capability transforms the strategic equation entirely, allowing India's second strike capability that fundamentally alters deterrence calculations. Pakistan's more modest navy focuses on coastal defense and sea denial strategies. With approximately 9 frigates, 8 submarines, and various smaller vessels, the Pakistan Navy lacks carrier capabilities but compensates with anti-ship missiles, maritime patrol aircraft, and a growing focus on asymmetric capabilities. A significant development is Pakistan's acquisition of 8 Chinese Yuan-class submarines, expected to substantially enhance its undersea warfare capabilities. Pakistan has also invested in maritime strike aircraft and coastal defense systems to counter India's naval advantages. Narkakar Land Forces, the human element. The ground forces comparison reveals both nations maintain massive standing armies. India with approximately 1.4 million active personnel to Pakistan's 640,000. Both operate thousands of tanks, armored vehicles, and artillery pieces. India's tank fleet includes Russian T-90s and indigenous Arjun tanks, while Pakistan relies on Chinese-designed Al-Khalid tanks and upgraded older models. Recently, India has emphasized modernization of its mechanized forces and special operations capabilities. Yet Pakistan's army, historically the dominant institution in its national power structure, maintains excellent training standards and strategic focus specifically tailored to counter Indian advantages. The Pakistan Army's experience in counterinsurgency operations has honed certain tactical capabilities, though concerns about equipment maintenance and modernization persist due to budget constraints. The nuclear equation. The ultimate equalizer in this military competition is the nuclear arsenal maintained by both nations. Pakistan possesses approximately 160 nuclear warheads to India's estimated 160, with both nations continuing to produce fissile material. Pakistan's doctrine emphasizes full-spectrum deterrence, including tactical nuclear weapons that could be deployed against conventional Indian forces, a deliberate strategy to counter India's conventional advantages. India maintains a no-first-use policy, but has recently signaled potential flexibility in this stance. The decisive factors. What truly separates these arsenals goes beyond weapons counts. 3 factors decisively tilt the overall balance. 1. Defense spending disparity. India's military budget, approximately $72.9 billion, dwarfs Pakistan's, $12.8 billion, creating an ever-widening capability gap. 2. Indigenous production capabilities. While Pakistan relies heavily on Chinese equipment, India has developed robust domestic defense industries producing everything from rifles to fighter jets, providing strategic autonomy. 3rd, international partnerships. India's warming relations with Western powers and traditional friendship with Russia provide access to advanced technologies Pakistan cannot match. Yet military analysts note that regional conflicts rarely follow strict mathematical formulas. Pakistan's focused military doctrine, tailored specifically to counter Indian advantages, ensures that any confrontation would come at considerable cost to both sides, especially given the nuclear dimension. As dawn breaks over the volatile subcontinent, the military balance between these nuclear-armed neighbors remains one of history's most consequential standoffs, a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous weapons are not the missiles themselves, but the historical grievances that might one day launch them.